All right, now we're live. I was wondering if I was going to get live, but welcome back. It's good to see you again, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We've got power back. I wasn't able to hold the stream as soon as I thought, given that, last week was just a no-go week for me, but it's still going to be business as usual here. We've got Dr. Squatch in the like, and what I've done, I can't wait to show you. Hey, what's going on, Luna? Welcome back to the stream. What I've got is a much more seamless look to it. So usually when we do these kinds of edits on streams, hey, what's going on? Many Colored Journal, welcome back. All right. What happens is whenever we have any kind of stream, usually what happens is we have just a series of jokes and edits that have been made, but they're loose in the timeline. Dello Yellow, shout out to Marklar. Absolutely. What is going on? And I hope Marklar is doing really well. King Conk, what is up? What is up indeed? I'm doing great. I hope you're doing great as well. Thank you for joining the stream. So, I took some time to make sure that everything was tethered together. So far, we have about a minute and a quarter of material, of course, not counting any outros, outro jokes, leftovers here, which we are going to be adding sooner or later because I haven't yet found the right spot for everything. But this is looking really good. I'm really curious to see how it's going to end up, especially after today, because we are going to be tackling a lot of the second source, so the second ad for Dr. Squatch. And those ads, I swear, they reuse some of the material, just some. So some things you may think, well, I've heard this guy say this before, but no, it's just they're reusing the line in the ad. The sexiest jokes, yes. The sexiest jokes, or the sexiest, absolutely. For AAAAHH second new account. What is up? That's one hell of a name right there. First account's all right. I hope it is. And are you excited for the new AJ? Yeah, of course. Of course I am. I'm a huge fan of Ace Attorney, so I am looking forward to seeing what Apollo Justice could bring to the table. Oh, goodness gracious, yes. Your RE poop was one of the biggest inspirations of my young created life. Just want to let you know. Well, thank you very much, Chadkins. Unfortunately, I do believe you're confusing me with Deeper Cut, but Deeper Cut's Resident Evil 4 poop was absolutely fantastic. I completely agree. Classic from 2008, right from the start, helped to redefine what his style was. In fact, that Resident Evil 4 poop, I think it's like in his top 5 favorites when it comes to like top 5 most viewed on everything on his channel. Of course, a lot of stuff on his channel sadly has been removed due to claims and other things, but that poop is amazing and I love it so much. It took a while for me to adjust to because at the time I wasn't used to intense gore in games, but after a while I got the hang of it. When I saw the Sonic YouTube poop is finished, I discovered you. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Slipknot fan. Oh man, I haven't listened to Slipknot in a long time. Oh, is this the other AAAAHH account? Oh yeah. When he saw the Sonic YouTube poop is when I discovered you. You're talking about the Chaos Control Freaks, are you? That's the one that I made of Sonic X. Oh wait, no, the other's one, of course. The worst Sonic fanfiction ever. I love that video, and I'm so glad that you loved it as well. My gosh, I feel like there's so many Sonic fans that found me through that video, and I think that there's just such a wonderful reaction to that video. I mean, I don't know if it's this collective distaste of the Sonic 06 game. I just loved working with the cutscenes. I thought that a lot of them were hilarious, but either way, I'm really glad you found me. I hope that you love what's coming up. I do want to do more Sonic stuff, maybe movies, maybe games. I've talked about maybe wanting to do the movies, but I haven't watched them enough. I've only maybe watched the first one twice, and I haven't seen the second one yet, except in some clips. I heard that both movies were really good, though. Out of curiosity, will you be doing a live on 9:30? That is the plan. That is the plan. And I like this time slot, so if we're going to be doing it, yes. I want to make sure I'm doing it as often as possible. Make him say, want to smell like fart. Ooh, want to... Ooh. So, yeah, that's something we can do. Give me a second. One thing that has not changed about me is I'm a meticulous joke note taker. I have like pads everywhere. So sometimes I don't use this pad. I use another pad that maybe I have in the vehicle that I drive, in the kitchen, or someplace else. And I just need to take it down. I'll take it down on my phone, but I just love it when I can write it down as opposed to just entering it on my phone. It's not the same thing. It's very, very different when you do it. But yeah, want to smell like fart. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can do that in this stream. Wanna smell like fart. Like, because he does all of these. Want to smell like the sun. Want to smell like the beach. Want to smell like New York. More commercial chaos. Yes. Get off of my hood, Sonic. Hood off of my get, Sonic. That was another good classic. The Sonic's name speeds this game. And I was really glad that poop was released, because when Deeper Cut showed me everything that was being done, he was really excited. And then there was like a little problem with the recovery. I think that there was like a glitch in Adobe that caused him to lose a lot of it, but he got it back, thank goodness. Whew. Hey, what's going on? Freak Fox! What are you editing? I missed a few streams. Like, what's the source? So this is Dr. Squatch. Dr. Squatch ads. So I love the ads for YouTube Poop Creation because they're the kind that are really out there as far as, you never know what's going to happen. The audio for the spokesperson, which is this guy with the long hair, it's very clear, it's crisp, it's well produced, so you can sentence mix it as you like. And on top of that, there are three of them that I really want to use in this video. So that's what we're using, Dr. Squatch. Now, there are a couple, I use a lot of apps on my phone for different things, like one of which is Duolingo for language learning, trying to get Hindi down perfect. And often because I'm using the free version, often what happens is I get ads for these, for Temu, and holy smokes, you have got to see the Temu ads. This is the kind of thing that I want to poop. It's just, it's cluttered, it's littered, and I can't find the original one. Right. Also make him say, consuming my milkshake after man, and he consumes milkshake and then he screams, LOL. So consuming my milkshake. So what I'm going to do is I don't remember exactly where it is in that video, but I am going to pull up a transcript for this, so that way it's a lot easier. Captain is a man of the world learning another language. Yeah, so it's funny. What I like to do is plan out these visits to different countries that I do want to go to, or vacations in the future. A lot of these times these vacation plans get canceled because of random reasons. I was supposed to go with a friend to Italy, and then what happened is their visa got thrown into the shredder or something like that, but that canceled the trip. But with Hindi, I mean, obviously at least half of my family speaks Hindi, so it's helpful when I can do that, because if you're in India, then Hindi, it's not going to be the most predominant language there. Well, it will be a predominant language there, but different states will speak different dialects of it. So if you know Hindi, you can understand most of what people there say. And of course, that's just a general go-to language. It's like how in Spanish, there are different dialects in Spanish too, depending on where you are in the world. And same with Portuguese. So Hindi, same thing. I have Duolingo as well. I've been learning Italian. Nice. Oh man, I've got to get back to Italian. I actually forget everything Italian that I learned because I only started like a few lessons, and then the whole hullabaloo with the visa started, and that made me think, oh man, it's going to be a long time before I learn Italian, so I swapped to Hindi. But Italian is really fun, and it's also, from what I remember, pretty easy to understand. Like like if you're doing Duolingo, I think it's like Karen mangia la mela or something like that. It's like one of the first sentences you learn. Also, I have Duolingo learning Spanish. What's going on, Dinwar? Yes, Spanish I have tried on Duolingo as well. I've gotten pretty far on that. Nice. Thinking about learning German, honestly, because it would be easy, not need to start someday. Yeah, German is interesting because, from what I understand, so you know how some people, like some languages, they have the numbers differently? Like, I think German numbers are really, really insanely difficult, like Danish numbers. But the language is pretty otherwise easy to learn because of the fact that a lot of English comes from a lot of the Germanic languages, so it's totally possible. What is going on, Rice Snot? Greetings from the UK. Greetings from the UK, Rice Snot. I mean, actually, it's funny. I might as well show this to you since we're talking about the UK. I have started another project due to the completion of one project. Now, I don't know if you recall this YouTube poop from way back when. I think it was like 2012, 2011 or something like that, called British People. So personally, when I look back, I'm not satisfied with the video because I feel like there's so much more that I could have done. So I have begun British People 2. Now, what sources there are, I'm not going to reveal, but you do see a little bit of Top Gear right there, Jeremy Clarkson. And you do see in this timeline here, this is a little bit of 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. So I've gotten a good start on that. I'm loving where it's going. Like, it is one that I'm really excited for. I don't want to do a stream because it's shows that premiered on UK television, so I don't know what the copyright is going to do for doing that on a stream. I will say, though, if you love comedy shows, 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown is a show you must watch. Old or new, it doesn't matter because it's funny all the way. You'll love the panel show there. Yeah, big shout out to Dinner War. Yeah, absolutely, you rock, dude. I'll give a double shout out. Also make him say, are you... what is... that might be a possibility. Again, it really depends on what the transcript gives. Core blimey, it's some top local blokes. You got that right. Sean Locke, Jeremy Clarkson, and of course, the show is hosted like 8 out of 10 Cats. Jimmy Carr. I love British People. It's concise and it has a plot. Don't be ashamed of it. I mean, it's not that I'm ashamed of it. It's just that I wish I could have done more. I feel like the video should have been longer. I should have maybe instead of finishing up and releasing it, looked for more sources and added to that, which I did want to do, but I thought, oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time thinking of ideas with the very slim number of sources I've got right here, and I should have just expanded the horizons a little bit more. So that's kind of my attempt to do that, and I love where it's going so far. I think that some of the jokes are really good, especially with what I use of 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. I mean, that show is funny already. I'm just, remixing a lot of them into something entirely new and different. So there's going to be a lot to be excited about. So for now, though, this is, of course, English. Well, excuse me, American People right here. More specifically, American Surfer Dude, the King Style Hair People. We have to make a King Style joke sooner or later. I just need to figure out where. Or maybe I could just randomly insert it in someplace. But yeah, that's what's on the docket. There's a lot more on the docket because during like the second week of September, I just took a complete week off and started doing almost nothing but editing on my computer. So that gave me the chance to really add to a lot of videos, this video included. There's a lot of jokes that I've done off stream that I am really excited for you to see at the end. There's some stuff that I was able to start, even get a good jump on, stuff that we even talked about in the stream, stuff that I have talked about before in the past. Like, there are some larger projects that I'm working on right now in the the kind of stuff that's in the same vein as the Mulan poop, the Twilight poop, the Star Wars YouTube poop, like movies, film. And I feel like these YouTube poops deserve a lot of attention in the same way that those sources in the past I gave. Because the last time I used a movie as the basis of a YouTube poop, it was Morbius, but it was barely Morbius. It was just talking about Morbius, or it was Morbius as almost like the backdrop. Hold on one second. That's better. And that one is great. I love it. But I'd love to get another one of those classic style, the kinds that I used to make with deeper cut in mind. And those are fun to make, but boy, are they hard to they're hard to do, because in a lot of those sources, what I like to do is try and not do a plot, but make consecutive edits or edit consecutively. So every edit I make has to be in the order in which it appeared in the film. So the earlier parts of the film will have edits that are premiered in the earlier parts of the YouTube poop, just like Deeper Cut did. Again, so there is something of a style that I love doing that in, and I do not like it when I have these large gaps, these large chunks of material that I can't do anything with. So a lot of the time, I'm just staring at this chunk thinking, is there some idea that's going to come to me today? Is there an idea that's going to come to me for this today? And sometimes nothing comes, and then one day I think, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't think of that. And when I can't think of anything, I'll just pivot to another source, this and the other thing. So it's kind of like I've got this, in a virtual sense, I've got this swivel chair, and I can spin my chair to the left. There's one video I'm working on, to the right, another one. It's almost like those, hacker scenes in anime or kids anime shows or something like that. So that's how kind of like I envision it, and I love doing it. I really can't wait to see how this goes. I bet YouTube writer's block is real for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's not just writer's block, it's creative block in general, because you could have the same kind of block when you're drawing or painting. You can have the same kind of block when you're doing this as well. I mean, the thing of it is that no matter what, you're writing jokes. You're really trying to make something that's funny. And I've said it before in the stream, I'll say it again, humor is objective. There is an art, there is a style to it. So you really want to make sure you're doing your best to adhere to the style. Now, I am a little bit of a perfectionist, so sometimes I will erase things that, in hindsight, I do not like. I mean, I can look at a lot of my old videos and think, oh God, I should have gotten rid of that. And that's, a lot of people have that. If you have that, don't worry, that's normal. But in addition, I mean, it's not just sometimes about the art of comedy itself. I mean, every now and again, there are different styles that you want to do for a source that clash with something a little bit more organic. Like with Morbius, for example, I was trying to do it in that style of the classic, the classic YouTube hoops I make, the Deeper Cut style, and it was a movie that put me to sleep. I'm going to be completely frank. Morbius is really bottom tier MCU, if you can call it MCU, but it was the kind of movie that the jokes around it are monumentally better than the movie itself. It's not like The Room, where you can love the jokes and love the movie in that unironic fashion. No, Morbius is legitimately boring. And I say that even though Matt Smith is great in it. He does his job. He does everything he's supposed to. But Jared Leto, where is Jared Leto? He's just coasting. Everybody else, coasting. It's just typical. It's exactly what you'd expect if you asked an AI to make a superhero film. It's just going to reuse some kind of origin story, some kind of plot point, and it will not be memorable. In the case of Morbius, though, it really drags. So let's see what we got. Now, I believe that this is the second ad here. So we're going to kind of go through everything, and we're going to see what we've got at our disposal. We cut off right here about, and we did start some jokes before the stream got cut due to power loss. Hey, what's going on, Octavia? Welcome to the stream. Hope you love your Saturday so far. Actually, assuming it is Saturday, because I know that some people in parts of the world are not exactly having a Saturday, but more a Sunday. Completely agree with you on Morbius. The second release of that movie really proved your point. Yeah, I have no idea what Sony was thinking. I mean, surely they must know the jokes. I mean, I think what it was, the reason why Sony was re-releasing that movie into theaters is they weren't paying attention to what people were saying. They were just paying attention to Google Trends. They saw that Morbius was getting more and more and more attention. And they thought, oh my God, people really liked this movie. Well, I guess we got to put it back in theaters, give it a second chance. Well, congratulations. You looked at the metrics. You didn't dig deep into the metrics. Complete boneheaded move. Gosh, I love that joke. Power's back. Yeah, what's going on, Tyler McNamer? That's actually my favorite joke. Favorite joke from the Star Wars YouTube poop. I'm glad you love it too. Well, Ah, man, actually, first or second, I still have to decide. The other one being interrupting cheese. All right, so let's see what we got here. We have some. Actually, I'm wondering if. Oh wait, I see what's going on. I completely forgot something. Give me one moment. I can't believe I didn't notice this until now. Typically, I stream with these headphones on. Yeesh. All right. Man, all it takes is just a little plug-in. This will just be a moment, and then the sound will come through. Gosh, I can't believe I was doing that all this time and I didn't even notice. Why does my head feel a little loose? All right, let's get that in. I sense the stop button. I sense R2. I sense R2 too. I think that comes from a different video, unless I made it without. There we go. Yeah. Setting up headset, this and the other thing. Just do your thing. I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, so. Oh, wait. Ooh. Oh, God. Right off the bat. I love it. All right. Want to smell like fart? I'm just going to write down weed because. Okay, we absolutely have to include that into this edit. My gosh. All right, so let's just make some space here. I'm going to make about this much. And bam. So we're going to add want to smell like jokes, and we're going to see what we can listen for. Oh, yeah, that's Marklar. Oh, gosh. You're right. Yeesh. Sennheiser. Good. Excellent. Ready. It's been too long. All right, let's see.
We've got you. Click the link to ace your scent with...
Click the link to ace your scent? Oh, yeah, it's a school setting.
Dr. Squatch. All right, class. Today's lesson, Stink 101. Teach me, Sensei.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Wow. Oh, my God.
Sweat is a natural process, but it turns your underarms into a cafeteria for bacteria, feasting on your sweet, sweet sweat, causing BO.
I forgot about this. My gosh, this reminds me of Alton Brown, because Alton Brown in his show Good Eats, what he used to do is he used to use sock puppets eating stuff and belching as a thing for yeast. So, teach me okay. Is it senpai or senpei? Either way, I think that's a great idea, Dello Yellow. Let's get that done.
Sense.
Oh my gosh. Hearing that, I don't know why, but hearing that voice come out of his mouth, it does not work.
Teach me, Sensei.
Okay. Sensei. If it is senpei, that's great. Yeah, that's what I thought. Senpai. But let's see if we can make it work.
Teach me, Sensei.
He does this terrible pun. I'm sure that there is another instance of him speaking. The only other instance that I think of immediately comes earlier. He says, "What's in the box?" What we need is an I sound effect, like a soft I word. So a soft I word would be like ice cream, because then we can take the I and put it at the end of this. So let's keep it on the back of our heads.
Sweat is a natural process, but it turns your underarms into a cafeteria for bacteria, feasting on...
Ooh. I see something else I could do.
Cafeteria...
I mean...
But it turns your...
Senpai pie.
Your underarms into a cafeteria for bacteria. Into a cafeteria for bacteria.
I don't know. So this is just a simple one. It's just going to be swapping, because there are two words that start with CA.
Into a cafeteria for bacteria.
Okay.
Bacteria.
There we go.
Cafeteria.
So just a simple swap makes
bacteria for cafeteria.
Now, if there's something else we could do, I'm sure that there are, because these are really well-pronounced starts. We can probably use these as future sentence mix possibilities. Oh my god, I shower you with coconuts and pies. Give me 1 second.
All right, class. Today's lesson, Stink 101. Sweat is a natural process, but it turns your underarms into a cafeteria for bacteria, feasting on you.
If there's a shower, if the word shower can be made.
Your sweet, sweet sweat causing BO. What about these?
Well, actually, yeah, he does say the word shower. What am I doing? He does say the word shower in this. Because it's soap. If he doesn't say shower, then it's hand soap. Okay, so Dr. Squatch soap. The first ad, I think, is going to be our easiest chance of getting it. So what I'm going to do here is pull up on my second monitor here. What? Jesus Christ. That line is cursed. All right. It just says it says here in the. Actually, now that I'm reading the description, thanks to James Schrader for starring and writing this amazing piece. Check out his website below, jamesschrader.com. Huh. Well, now. All right, let's get this transcript. All right. So maybe we can see what else he's doing, if anything. So this is just the broken up pieces of video 1. Oh, wait, no. This is video 2. I put video 1 back into the timeline right over here.
Listen up. The soap you shower with?
So he says shower, but it's a very slurred shower. He says shower.
Shower with?
So let's see. Is there another instance of the word shower? But now you can upgrade your shower game. I'm sure there's something there.
Smell like mama's little man? You can upgrade your shower game.
Okay, I guess that's just the way he says shower. You know, sometimes when you say things a certain way, you don't often notice it. Like when you slur speech. Say the word community. Sometimes people say community, and they completely leave out the IT at the end. This is probably one of those cases. He doesn't say shower, he says shower.
You probably haven't even the soap you shower with? You shower?
But it's a clear shower, at least.
You shower with?
And you can easily discern that this is indeed what he's trying to say. So we'll use it. See if we can get that sentence mix. I shower you with coconut scent pies. And does he use the word coconut? I hope so. By golly, I hope so. You can take that shower and put a T sound. Oh, God. You can say shart. I love sentence mixing. I love sentence mixing. Shart.
Shower.
So
Shower.
I would need to take the beginning of this, add a stronger R sound, because typically in R, a word that ends in RT, the R is a little bit stronger. So court, the R is a little bit more pronounced. Yo, yeah. Reference to DK Country cartoon, by the way. I wanna show it. Jeez.
Shower.
Let's see if we can get a.
Shower.
Let's just give this a little bit of a fade out so the W doesn't creep in.
Shower.
All right. Now, does he say coconut? I'm sure that he does, because there's a rum one. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't say coconut. I'm amazed he does not say coconut. Absolutely amazed, I tell you. But what episode was that DK Country line from? Okay. So, Dr. Squatch at... Oh, wait, no, this is the deodorant commercial. Nuts around. So. Hey, what's going on, Turgo? I don't know what's happening to me. That was a classic ad. It's funny. The person who created that fad, MST Raddock was his name. And he hated, absolutely hated, that it was popular. I mean, some people just hate that they're, that things that they create are popular like that. Can't explain why it is, but it's the same thing with, creators like May and the like. So where's the transcript on this? There should be a transcript for this one. Show transcript, please. That's odd. There is supposed to be a transcript. Hearing shower makes me think I should take one. BRB. Well, when all else fails, just do what the people in the men's locker room do and spray Axe body spray everywhere, and I mean everywhere. That's weird. There is no... Maybe if I make a new window, maybe that'll make a difference. So the deodorant ad does not... I don't know why YouTube moved the thing to the description. Here we go. Just a YouTube glitch. Alright. So is coconut present in this one? No. So we'll have to actually sentence mix the word coconut. Alright. No problem. Let's get that ball a-rolling. Old Spice body wash doesn't stop body odor for 16 hours, and maybe I can include the Old Spice guy in this. Maybe. Alright, so let's see what we can do. We'll have to get coconut mixed, and that's probably going to be really easy to do. So let's focus on the other part. I shower you with coconut scent pie. So we just need to find the word pies. Now we can do a simple... Well, actually, let's work on this. I'm sorry, what? So the sentence that we're trying to sentence mix, Octavia, is based off of a Donkey Kong Country cartoon, the 3D animated one from the 90s that looks ridiculous. It's a play off of that. I want to shower you with coconut cream pies. And yeah, they actually said that. And we're trying to recreate a version of that sentence. So the word pie is probably not going to be in any of these because they, but maybe a PI word will be the best option here. Because sometimes PI words will not often be, it will be pits, but let's see. I felt like back in the day, most YouTube poopers would mess with their audience or just ignore them, thinking gags like putting fan service behind annotations. Then, even if you remove the user annotations, I remember annotations, all right. Alpine. So yeah, that Walrus guy was, I think, the first person I saw do that. Because keep in mind, there was a YouTube poop that he made that was making fun of the user annotations feature, as well as a couple of other YouTube features, like the widescreen introduction. What he did was he used a source. It was the the Super Mario Brothers Cave Football episode, and he used the 3:4 aspect ratio version, but in a widescreen format, so you had the black bars. But when Mario threw the stone when Luigi threw the stone at Mario, and Mario gets knocked back, he gets knocked back into the black bars. So he's actually breaking a little bit of the fourth wall there. And he did a couple of other things, including annotation jokes, which I thought was really clever. But Yeah, the thing about that is that I think Walrus Guy was the only person that I saw do any kind of joke like that. The only other creator who I saw do something like that was a Homestar Runners female called Virus. So, we found the word pie. It's the word alpine. Now, the thing is, al is going to get the emphasis. I think that'll be all right. And there's also the word pirate. So, that's going to come right here. So, it's going to be very early on in the video when he's talking about the things that you want to smell like.
Men who use their hands.
Oh, wait, no, this is actually the Deo commercial. So, the deodorant commercial. Yeah, it comes early.
Scents that'll give you the most popular pits in town. Want to smell like a mountain? Try Alpine Sa.
So there's one version of pine.
Pine Sa. Pine. Pine Sa.
This has an S at the end. At the time, I didn't think Walrus Guy was especially funny, but he was doing really innovative things like that in meta jokes. I thought he was really funny. I thought that, because a lot of times he was doing really creative edit jokes that involved a lot of masking and a lot of flash animation that nobody else was doing, and they were really good for what they were, even at their time, even now. I mean, he obviously wasn't for everyone, but he was great at what he did do.
Sage. Want to smell like a waterfall? Splash Fresh Falls. Want to smell like a sexy pirate?
And this is...
Pirate?
So pine is going to be our best bet.
Pine.
So let's grab that. And we have the wanna smell like section that we can work on while we're doing this.
Bacteria for cafeteria.
That's cafeteria.
Shower. Pines. Pines.
So this is the word pines.
Pines.
If we can get rid of the N, we should be good.
Pines. 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 Pines.
That's good. That works.
Shower.
Yeah. Okay, so while it's fresh on the mind, since we have the Wanna Smell Like series that we can also work on. Let's see.
Tar, we've got you. You want to like the floor? You want to smell like the...
There we go.
You want to smell like...
Wanna smell like...
We... Teach me. You want to smell like... You want to smell like... Like...
I think he does a K here.
Smell like...
Yeah. Beautiful. Yes. Now, if we can get the word farts, that's the first thing. I think that was actually the very first joke suggested on this stream. You want to smell like farts. So for that, we need an FAR, preferably, or an AR that we can add an F to. The soap use. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Vinster Geister? Wait a minute. Mr. Vinster Geister, is that who I think it is? Well, now I have to know. Give me un momento here. Mr. Vinster Geister. It sounds like Gaster from Undertale. I thought for a second you were Guy Safari. Welcome in, Mr. Vinster Geister. All right, so we need an FA.
You want to...
We need an FAR here. And I'm sure that we can get something like that. Vinny Rotea here. Oh, that sounds like a great infomercial presenter guy. Hey, Vinny Rotea here for Slap Chop. Okay. Wow. We got lucky. The Dio commercial has the word fart right in there. And it's at the 118 mark.
Glycol's inside. Like a fart in a... Like a fart...
Yep.
Fart in a lock. In a lock.
Yep. Perfecto. Hi, Vinny Rote here for Slap Chop. Look, one slap gets you diced onions. One slap minced.
Teach.
Okay, let's put it right here. Yeah. See if it sounds good or if we need to make some adjustments.
Fart. Fart.
Little offset.
Fart.
There we go.
You want to smell like? You want to smell like fart?
There we go. And we can add scents, really weird scents after this.
Weep. Weep.
Well, he actually says this a little bit easier. So I'm not going to use that version of weave. I'm going to use a different version of weave. One that doesn't have that Caribbean song behind it.
The forest. Boom. Pine tar. We've got. We've got.
There we go.
We've.
Perfect. So let's get this added, and we can add a third thing to smell like.
You want to smell like fart?
And then
You want to smell like? We.
see if we can get that longer.
We've.
Offset.
We've.
And then maybe a D sound would complete it.
Like we've.
Yeah, a D sound would complete it. Damn, you're gonna use my name? Oh God. Eesh. I mean, you typed it in chat. I didn't know that you did. Oh, it's all right. I won't say it again. All right. So we have fart. We have weed. What's something else that stinks that we can probably mix or pull from this source? We'll have to listen closely here. And oh my God. This is just this face. Right here. Oh my God. Ugh. It reminds me of the... Shoot, this is the kind of face that reminds me of that old He-Man meme where he's got his head reared back and his mouth open. Jeez. I wonder if I can make a reference to that. Would it be dated? Why not? Let's grab a full quality screenshot to make sure we're good. Not S-Boy. I need to go to Squatch. I'll just do face. It's amazing. When you get sidetracked making YouTube poop because of other jokes, it's like it's procrastination within itself. It's the best kind of procrastination. All right. Oh my God. This is just an 80s animation cell that's gone horribly, horribly wrong. Just look at that. Look at that beautiful, beautiful man. And it shouldn't be too hard to chroma key out this blue. You might lose a little bit of the teeth, but we can just mask out the rest. Oh my God. Would have been funny though, yeah. Alright. I literally had a shower thought when I realized he says sensei like that because it's sensei. Yeah. That's what caused me to just put my head in my hands like that. It's just the dadness coming off of all of these people. Alright.
You want to smell like fart?
You want to smell like fart. Now let's figure out some kind of scent. Weed is something else that we'll have to do. We need that third thing. So let's see what else. So we've got those sentence mixes on top of the word coconut. We need to think about the word coconut. And I know that the word nut can be easily sentence mixed. Cocoa nut. Okay. That might be a little bit harder because when you say coconut, usually what you end up doing is you don't say cocoa nut or coconut. you say C-O-C-U, coconut. So making that, it's going to require 2 different vowel sounds to get right. And then on top of that, you have to get the K sound to be perfect. Let's listen in and see what else we've got.
Sweat is a natural process, but it turns your underarms into a cafeteria for bacteria, feasting on your sweet, sweet sweat, causing BO.
What about these yellow stains?
Antiperspirants use aluminum to try to trap sweat. But you can't stop nature. The sweat that sneaks out mixes with the aluminum and makes it look like your shirt peed its pants.
Oh my gosh. There's something we can do here. Like, of all of the things to write, like, this guy wrote this material. This guy wrote this material. This is not some script that he was given to say. He wrote this. Alright. Dare I? Yeah, why not?
Peed its pants.
Okay. Let's get rid of the D sound. So, funny enough, there's... Like, there are lots of things that we can do here. Like, I just realized that we can also use this to sentence mix the word pizza. Pizza. So, let me write that down. Okay, pizza... from there we go. So we've got pizza in the back burner. We can use that in a sentence if we so desire. Okay, let's get a fade, a little bit of a fade. Get the second P out. There we go. Hey, what's going on, Galestrom? Welcome back to the stream. Good to have you, my man. All right, let's do this. So we have that amazing, amazing choice of words.
It's pants, but what it does to your body is much worse. Oh no, he's back! This toxic bully suffocates your pits, trapping waste, parabens, and glycols inside. Like a fart in a locker. Stop covering.
Oh my god, did they really just add that?
Covering yourself with aluminum. You're
okay. Stop covering yourself with
in a locker. Stop covering your. Stop cover.
Man, Galestrom, this is. These ads just get wonky and wonkier and wonkier.
Stop covering yourself with aluminum. You're not leftovers. You're a man.
Oh god, he does this.
With aluminum. You're not leftovers. You're a...
You can kind of see that they didn't even bother to add, like, this blackboard right here. Look at the way that it, when he throws it, and then the lettering, it's very clearly not, this isn't written on the blackboard.
Inside, like a fart in a locker. Stop covering yourself with aluminum. You're not leftovers. You're a man.
Like, they didn't need to edit that in. They could have just written on the blackboard all of these things. Stop looking at yourself. Oh god, that's great.
Fart in a locker. Stop covering.
Oh man, Rice Knot, that's a killer idea.
Yourself with. Stop covering yourself with aluminum.
Actually, I think he says stop yourself. I wonder if looking at is a really good looking. He's got to use the word look. If the word look, here we go. Yeah. Oh man, rice snack. That is a killer idea. Imagine if you also said you're not a man, you're a woman. Well, we're doing variants of that joke. You're not a dish. You're not a something or other. Here we go. Let's add this to the list of arsenal stuff. Stop covering yourself with replacement funny word. I was thinking about that, Dello. Like, I was thinking about stop covering yourself with pizza, since we had pizza in the arsenal.
In a locker.
Alright, that's not the one.
Stop.
We could probably have link on the blackboard at the end. Yeah, I'm full of them. Dang right.
Stop covering yourself with aluminum.
This is just perfect.
Stop covering yourself with Stop.
Alright, let's get we have to get the word look, and according to this, it appears at 107 in the timeline. 107. Ah, yes, it does that thing.
The sweat that sneaks out mixes with the aluminum. It makes it look like you're.
Look.
Makes it look like. Makes it look like. Look like.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfecto.
Stop. Stop.
Okay. Real talk here. Most deodorants are aluminum free. Squatching. Yeah, I know. Like, there are also soaps that no longer have parabens, and even then, the parabens that they have aren't the worst or harmful in any capacity. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like saying that our soda doesn't have cocaine in it. Well, yeah, we know Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it. It doesn't anymore. You can advertise with that if you want, but gosh darn. The other day I have an idea hit me. The shot where the topless guy lifts up from behind a rock, cut him out as a mask, and cut to footage of someone shooting. Oh. Guy from... Yeah, like one of those carnival games, right? From... Come... Up... Run behind a rock. Shoot. Carnival style. Oh, so he lifts, cut to someone shooting, then rotate him quickly back behind the rock. Yeah, like he falls backwards, right? That's a possibility for sure, because there's enough of that still image that we can generate from that. Uh-oh, camera battery. Wait, what? No, how can the camera be... Hang on. Bear with. Yeah. Alright, I know exactly what happened. It just got unplugged. No worries. As long as this is still recording, that's fine, but I'll see if I can... Can you see me better now? I think I can see myself on the stream. Perfect. No worries, I'm here. What's going on, HS Gomi Kubi? Scenes where the background doesn't move and a character arrives or leaves the frame are fun to edit. I completely agree. It is a treasure trove of possibilities, especially when you've got those objects in the foreground that you can mess around with. Yep. So let me see. Yeah. So what happens is that the camera that I'm using has a very, very short cable. So what I try to do is I try to get as much of that extension as possible in the camera setup. And this is the closest outlet that I've got for it. So I'm looking to get something that's a little bit better, like gives me a better shot, makes me, something like an actual streamer would do. This is what I've got for now. I just need to get a longer cable for it. And unfortunately, the kind of cable that it takes is one that isn't often made anymore. Those old USBs. The guy peeks into the scene, reverses, and flips, frame, zoom, repeat.
Look.
All right.
Look. Look.
All right. Now we need to get an ing. So let's get a king. Yes. He actually says choking your pits. So this is a perfect opportunity. And let me just save real quick. There we go.
Harsh deodorants are bullying your body and choking your.
There we go. So, king, that's the perfect ing to add to looking. Power's back, yes! Honorius, welcome back! Yeah, oh man. Last stream, we had the power cut out on us due to a storm, and then this, camera disconnection. Ain't gonna happen this time.
Stop covering. Stop look.
Here we go.
Stop looking.
There we go. And then we have the word yourself.
Yourself. Yourself. Yourself. Yourself.
There we go. You're not the king. Yeah, I thought about that. The thing about is that the word king, usually when you say a king word like looking, the emphasis is on that first syllable. So look. So if we get the word king, it would be a very weird sounding king. You're not the king. You're not Deepak. Oh my god. I love those jokes. Directed by George Lucas. Nabu guy watching the Shields is so going to be pleased.
Stop looking.
Okay, let's get at. So the word at is it uttered, or any kind of at sounding word uttered? Yes, at 232. 232. It's a little deeper into the source, but that's okay. We'll get there sooner or later.
Smelling world. One pair of pits at a time. At a time. At a time.
He's using a soft I sound instead of a soft A sound.
At a time. At a time.
Might still work.
At a
Alright. Let's see how it sounds when we put this all together.
looking. You're. Stop looking at yourself. Stop looking at your.
It sounds like stop looking in yourself.
Stop looking at yourself.
If I add a fade, what happens?
Stop looking at yourself.
Yeah, it still sounds like looking at yourself, looking in yourself. One pair of prawn pits at the time. Look at me, the camera. Wait, is this going to end up mixing the guy to say, yeah, it's going to say, he's going to say, stop looking at yourself. And the reason we're making him say that is because after he says, like in this scene right here,
you're not left.
He does this.
Leftovers. Not leftovers. You're a man.
He does that.
Leftovers. You're.
And maybe we can have Link appear on this blackboard after the fact.
Stop looking at yourself.
Yeah, it says in yourself. I'm not happy with that. I'm just not happy with that. Hey, what's going on, Hercules? Really been missing these streams, Cap. My laptop died. Oh, stuck using a phone. True tragedy. Yeah, it's... Oh, man. It's not the same computer versus phone. I really hope you get your laptop replaced, fixed, whatever you need to do. It's good to have you back, my man. Good to have you back. Okay, let's get the word. Let's see if it appears in the first iteration of the source. Oh, he says the word at. He says the word natural, of course.
Listen up. The soap you shot mommy bought for her little man. Is that what you want? Ugh. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural.
There we go.
Natural.
Even if he doesn't say the T word, the soft A makes up for that. Super strong. Stop hitting yourself.
Stop looking at yourself.
Here we go. Yeah, this is monumental difference right here. I'll add some fades to make it sound a little, see, like it fits a little better.
Looking at yourself.
More fades.
Stop looking at yourself. Looking at yourself.
So all together.
Stop looking at yourself.
So it could be potentially a much, but would editing in a Kung Lao hat beheading when he frisbees that thing would be worth exploring. As far as it being a bit much, I mean, we can always make it like a non-bloody edit if that's what you mean. We can probably like, let's see, kind of like Mortal Kombat or the guy from the old James Bond films who throws the bowler hat. I can see that working if the, let's see how much animation it would take, because it's kind of like animating here. Go back here. He holds it in his hand. It's pretty level. Then he turns it to the side. So that would require a little bit of deforming. So he throws it to the side, and then it comes back here. So if we wanted to add the hat, superimposing it, it might just be... Okay, so we can have it in his hands right there, and then we cut to the throw instead of animating the entire... Because usually what happens is when you have to demorph something, it ruins the aspect ratio and it ends up cutting off parts of the scene. So doing something like that would be possible. It would need to be really snappy. It's not going to be like this one take like this, but it is possible. Kung Lao hat throw. Hang on. Let me change pens here. Always keep a spare. I'm just gonna say bisect, because whether it be getting rid of the head or body, it's a bisection technically. What if you have the thing he throws bounce back, hit him in the face, and cause an explosion? So I have something similar at the beginning of the YouTube poop. So great minds think alike. CRT computer monitor. Holy moly! Oh, you talking about this or something like that? Oh. What if you actually you could do it in reverse instead of superimposing the hat? I was thinking you could edit it fly off the screen first, then behead someone. Oh, so in other words, it doesn't travel in the path that it does in this clip. So it's not going to end up here like he throws it. Maybe we have it zoomed in right here. So it zooms in like that. He throws the hat, and the hat off screen does something. It's possible. There are a whole bunch of ways to do something like that. It's the same one in every game. Yeah, this is a totally doable thing. So if it's happening off, so he throws it, you move the frisbee off the screen, and did a quick beheading, then cut back, and he does the real throw into the whiteboard. So whatever the target is, it gets cut. There are other things that there's something else I could do as well. Kind of a little reference to the Mulan video. He can throw it, it sails into space, does the revolution around the planet, and then beheads him. Because this backdrop, this is a still camera, so let's see. If he moves his head enough, I can get enough of the greenery behind him to make something like that work. He doesn't keep it out of position for long, unfortunately. Let me see. Expanding this. Well, even then, the only thing behind him are tree shrubbery. It's just green here, so I could just copy from another and put it behind him. That's what I did in the Milan video as well. Something like that could work. Yeah. You can maybe make a Tron reference and cut to a disc hitting a guy. There's a good, yeah, that's another good thought. Tron reference. Gotta say, the firework always blowing up that guy's tent in Mulan is a joke I've always liked. Me too. It landed and exploded on Poe. Was it? So what happened is, yeah, it was Yao, but yeah, that's it. It didn't explode, but it just went into his head. Then there, oh wait, no, the Star Wars video, yes. In the Star Wars video, it landed and exploded on Poe, yes. Holy hell, all these ideas for a frisbee gag, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's the fun of making YouTube poop. You can do anything that you want. You can just go crazy. You can do all sorts of jokes. It doesn't have to be something where, oh, I can only do this one thing or I have so many limits. No, the only limit is your imagination and really what you know in video editing tools. I mean, heck, you probably don't even need a lot of sophisticated editing tools because what a lot of people used to do is just raw dog it, use Microsoft Paint or something like that. But that's the beauty of YouTube poop in general. It's punk rock in other words. I mean, it's DIY. So you're doing something that is not going to be to the standards of Hollywood. You should never, ever anticipate something like that. I mean, there are some creators that will probably make that attempt and do really good jobs at it. But even then, we know it's YouTube. You're not going to get the best gosh darn effects from a YouTube poop. I mean, keep in mind, this is a platform that hosts Annoying Orange. Anybody can do what he does. It does not take a genius to know how to do that effect. YouTube poop, same way. So there are all sorts of things that can be done, all sorts of ways that it can be framed. And that's another thing. I mean, the framing of the joke is going to differ between creators. If we're discussing this with somebody else, they're going to probably have their own vision on how something like this will work. So that's like the fun of all of this. Oh man, your imagination and what I call how much intelligent stupidity. That's it's here's the thing. It takes a really smart person to make really dumb jokes because you need to know how to make really good dumb jokes. But collectively, it is so much easier. I love having you guys here so that all of this can be done. So all of this is going to be a fantastic attempt. I mean, this is going to be but yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of really intelligent thought to make the best dumb jokes possible. I mean, otherwise you end up with something like Pootie Tang. Oh yeah, Breach. And Fred, this is your reminder that Fred existed. Yes. Fred not only had a movie, he had a debut album. And I had the misfortune of hearing the top song, the lead single by Fred, Who's Ready to Party. It is as bad as it sounds. And yes, the voice is chipmunked. I keep dreaming of the second coming of YouTube Poop. I mean, there is no need for a second coming of YouTube Poop. It's still going strong. I mean, the thing about YouTube Poop is that it hasn't really died. A lot of people talk about how YouTube Poop has died, but really it's just creators that they are familiar with that they have died. There are all sorts of creators coming out of the woodwork. There is a lot of attention dedicated to the creation of these videos on this platform, even with the rise of something like TikTok and, of course, Instagram Reels, and even in the past with Vine. I mean, YouTube is still going to be YouTube. It's going to be a very popular platform that will be able to host something like this. Really, maybe the best platform to host something like this. I think Noise Puppet does exceptionally good dumb and silly sentence mixes. I agree. Noise Puppet, like just off the wall things that they do in general, not just sentence mixing, but just general stuff. At least he hasn't gotten into drama, I think. I don't think he has. I think that Fred has mostly kept clean. Like, I think it's the same with Annoying Orange. Like, there's no drama, so you don't really know. Like, I was actually kind of surprised that Annoying Orange is still putting stuff out. Like, I think that the channel puts something out every week at the most, like new episodes or something. And they're, of course, kind of trying to keep it PG rated, but it's still annoying as hell. And it is it's the kind of show where you think you know what you're going to get and you watch it, and yeah, you get it. You get an Annoying Orange, some annoying well, really the orange is the worst part of it, the most annoying part, but the side characters are just there. Good on whoever made that show. They found a niche and they ran with it. Chris Crocker is living her best life now. Oh yeah, I remember Chris Crocker. That was like early YouTube, the Leave Britney Alone video, which I guess, for lack of a better word, has aged well based off of what the pop culture news is saying, because a lot of what she said was right. And what was interesting about that is that it's one of those viral videos that became viral because of, Schadenfreude. Oh my god. Here's another idea. When the board spins, it could reveal a pic of the speaker in the... Oh god, that's a great idea, Hercules. Like, I was going to do Link. Maybe... Like, after Link says what happened, the board spins back around and reveals the same guy. So, let's see. How does the board spin? Like, what I'm looking for here is whether the arm is in the way or any part of his body is in the way. No part of his body gets in the way, not even the scarf. It comes close. And that's big because we have those opportunities to make those edits now. The plate, though... So, Link appears after the stop looking at yourself. He says what happened. And maybe he says nothing. And then it spins back around, revealing the guy in the shower. Now, the only thing that I need to think about here is the plate that has just broken off, and some masking will get rid of that easily. Because, again, this is all... Look, the trees are stationary. There's no wind in the background that's blowing anything. There's no movement or panning from the cameras. It's all a still image. The only thing that's moving here is the blackboard. And that makes it so much easier to apply a joke like that. So let me add that. Let's see. When the board spins, a speaker in the shower. So, oh, by the way, when you say speaker in the shower, I don't think there's a scene of him in the shower. I think that's the other guy, the pseudo-Chad, for lack of a better word, that's in the shower. That's the only character I ever see in these commercials that looks like he came from a shower. So, board spins back, revealing shower guy. I'll just call him shower guy. I'm pseudo Chad, whatever. Put on like a second or two of you spin me right round. Ooh. There's a classic. That is right from 2007. And And I'm not talking about the Flowrider version. I'm talking about the original. I think that Jeff Lindblom was the first one to use You Spin Me Right Round. Oh, they can be... Okay, so there are two songs that we can use. We can use You Spin Me Right Round, and there's another one that was extremely, extremely popular because of Deeper Cut called Crazy Loop. And this was really, really prominent in his second tennis match with Milk Round. This is 2007, end of 2007, and the joke was that whenever something spun, the song would play. So we can use Crazy Loop. We can use You Spin Me Right Round. I've used Crazy Loop, so I think actually that one is going to be better. It'll be a nice callback too. So, Crazy Loop. They call me Crazy Loop. Yeah, the Digimon movie YouTube. Thoughts on laundry? You talking about laundry the chore? It does itself. You just put it in the machine, add the stuff, bam. Scarf. God had determined to destroy Westboro Baptist Church with toast. Get it? Are you talking about the scarf on him? Hang on. I think you'll need to be a little bit more specific on what is being intended. Oh, when it comes to early YouTube, I always get nostalgic for the Water Pokemon Legend series by Dorian. That is something I have not seen. That's like, that might be before me. Like, the kind of YouTube that I entered, like when I first discovered it, was Potter Puppet Pals. And with Potter Puppet Pals, there was also the Numa Numa guy. Dragos Dadinte is the name of the song, actually. But Numa Numa guy, like, that was like the YouTube that I entered into. And it was also when This Is Sparta was starting to become really, really big. And it's great timing because we make a This Is Sparta joke in this YouTube poo. I'm pretty sure it was from the water Pokemon thing from 2003 or 2004. Okay, that might be why. Hey, what's going on, Sagittarius? Welcome to the stream, by the way. Sagittarius A. Which is what really popularized that song, I think. Okay. Oh, I see. That song. Yep. He should throw the frisbee at the sign over and over again. A cheap gag, but effective. So he throws the... It's not the frisbee, it's a plate. There's another video of him throwing a plate that I do use. I'm actually going to be reusing it in many instances throughout this video. You just haven't seen any of them yet. The above post. Oh my gosh. Which squirrel is poop? That is a classic creator right there. Hey, what is going down? Carnage. Hey, welcome to the stream, Carnage. Am I the only one having brief audio cutouts? I think it's going fine for me. I don't think it's having any problems here. I remember watching 300 on a DVD player you'd strap onto the back of a car seat. Yes. Stuttering with every bump. Yeah, the thing about back then with anything that played a disc in cars is that whenever there was a bump, it always skipped or paused. And that included music. Like very early CD players, when you moved them, like just so suddenly, it stopped for a second and then resumed whatever it was doing. You're good, I refreshed. Okay. Whew. I thought it was me for a second. Whew. Yeah, I'm trying to hardwire my streams here for here on 4th. Stop covering yourself with spaghetti. Oh man, I love talking about classic stuff like this.
Stop looking at yourself.
Okay, we got great stop looking at yourself here. So I'm going to get right to the ideas that we just brainstormed going into the shower scenes here. Shower scenes.
Stop looking at yourself.
Actually, I'm going to use a different piece of... So I want to get...
Stop looking at yourself.
A little bit sooner.
Stop looking at yourself.
There we go.
Covering yourself with aluminum.
I think there's a sound effect that gets added here.
You're not leftovers.
Yeah, they add a... Okay, so we're gonna do so the first edit that we're gonna do that involves that throw. Let's do that link edit because I want link to appear and say what happened.
You're a...
My God. He is proud of himself for that. Like, I don't see any wire that's, you know, moving the board on its own. I'd like to believe that he did that just with the force by itself. Yeah, maybe he actually did. Yeah, have Zelda break the mirror of that princess. So we're gonna have Link appear, and that's gonna be the first step of this. Let me just see if this syncs just right. Okay, a little too soon. Okay, that's good. There we go. Now, what we need is we need CDI link without any of the background. And what we're going to do is really tricky because what we have to do is we have to pretty much make sure every frame of the edit is deformed properly to mimic the angle that the board is on. And that shouldn't be too hard. It shouldn't be too hard. All right, let's see. First, I need to see if I've got any sources already like this. So when this is Wand of Gamelon. Hang on, let me just switch this back to all stuff. These are just projects I've been working on. British rifle helmet. All right, after the switch, go on. Wand of Gamelon. Stop covering yourself in spit inner. I think that there might be a way to do something like that too. All right, why are these in order? Like, let's get these in alphabetical order. That'll be the best way of doing it. Okay. All scenes, green screen, but that's Zelda's CDI. Oh, wait, Zelda's CDI Ganon. But that's 51. So that's just 51 seconds. So that means I'll need to find a green or blue screen of the CDI games that includes the ending of Wand of Gamelon. Maybe Photoshop Morshoe into the pic with the shower guy for extra comedy. Maybe. I'll put Morshoe in parentheses here. And, of course, his sound. Parada Pequeño, welcome to the stream. Not a cast member of HBO's The Leftovers. I was looking at this from the corner of my eye, and I was thinking it was a different HBO show. I thought you said I thought I was going to say The Sopranos. I don't know. I'm a real sucker for the old spaghetti dinner jokes, but only when they come out of nowhere. The VO just can't have those jokes. VO can't just have those jokes like a cherry on top. So I think that you're right. Like there has to be a punchline for a lot of jokes. Like even with simple sus jokes, I love it when there is a punchline. I prefer it when there is a punchline. So that's why I have the Morshoe in parentheses. I want to see what we do with what we've got first. Yep. Stop covering your sweater in mom's spaghetti. All right, that I'm going to write down. All right. I'm just going to write lose yourself. Mom's spaghetti sweater. There's so many edits that we can get from this. Still laugh when Ganon's diet comes out of nowhere. Me too. reminds me, because of the absurd weapons in Mandalorian and Boba Fett, someone did a randomizer spreadsheet of random body parts and Star Wars weapons. Ended up with some absolute gold. Really? I would only know maybe the ones from Mandalorian because I have not started Boba Fett. I just think that the Mandalorian is just perfect on its own. Actually, I haven't even started Endor. I didn't start Ahsoka. I don't think I've seen everything from Mando Season 2 beyond. It's just been, I thought the story was perfect the way it is, and now they're just saturating it, and I can't keep up. Stop making me think of putting a cherry on top of spaghetti. I think there are some spaghettis you can do that with. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. At least one sus joke is accompanied by a tiny amogus. Oh, God. Tiny amogus. You gotta... This is a good source. Yeah, that's why I love it. I knew that this source was gold right when I sought it out, rediscovered it, and everything, and I'm really glad that this is a perfect stream source. Just skip season 3 of The Mandalorian, they ruined it. Okay. I mean, I was skipping everything else. I kind of figured that it wasn't gonna, live. Like, season 2 ended so perfectly. It felt like they did not need to make another season. Like, I don't even know what they do in this new season, but I mean, it's like when you end a show and then the producers or the studio thinks, wow, this show was popular. Let's add another season. No, don't. Leave it the way it is. It's just fine. When are they going to make a story about General Grievous without bastardizing his character? I mean, I've heard some arguments saying that his character was already bastardized after they made him quote-unquote weak in episode 3. I, of course, disagree with that. I think that his character is just fine. I don't think that there's any problem with the way that he was in episode 3. I mean, he may not be as badass as he was in the animated series, but But General Grievous, I'm not interested in Grievous. I mean, it's like Maul, I wasn't interested in either. And then I saw some clips of what they did with Darth Maul, and I thought, okay, maybe that would work. But I still look at him like the cool lightsaber battle guy from episode 1. Alright, so what we need is Wand of Gamelon, green screen. No, actually, not green screen, blue screen, because Link is wearing green. Faces of Evil, Link. Let's see. Oh, Jeff Lindblom, God bless you. Link, blue screen. Link, all visible dialogue, vocals isolated. All Ganon scenes, all Zelda scenes. Jeff Lindblom has Faces of Evil blue screen, but he doesn't seem to have Wand of Gamelon blue screen. Darn it. That's basically, yeah. I swear the vast majority of great shows get ruined by greedy execs ordering more seasons when the show should have ended. Yeah, I think that's... So, sometimes that's what it is, and other times it's execs that want to step in and take the show in another direction because of what they think their audience is going to like. Not an audience that they know as well as the writers or the show's creators, just what they think. And when shows don't have that kind of interruption, it's really amazing how good it can be. Like, when I finished Better Call Saul, I was amazed by, how clean it wrapped up, how fulfilling it was. Like, and I really wish shows had that, the opportunity to finish themselves properly. Yep, another saber for my collection. Yep. I agree, that's why anyone liked him in the first place. That's legitimately the main way Disney has ruined Star Wars and the MCU, oversaturation. I agree. I mean, there are some shows that I legitimately did like. Like, I think that the MCU TV series that I think about the most is the The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because there's a scene where the replacement, I'm not going to spoil anything, but Captain America does get a new replacement, so to say. And there's a scene where he does something so brutal that I think about, and I'm thinking, whoa. Like, then it's just a great, great episode. Oh, man. Jeff Lindblom is God. He's done so much. Like, he does great things with Morshu, too. It is really hard to do things with Morshu. I think the worst examples of oversaturation, the Hobbit movies. Yes. That The Hobbit did not need to be a trilogy. It did not. And I think that there was a lot of influence on the decision to turn it into a trilogy from the executives. I don't know how much Peter Jackson himself had a thought about doing something like that, but it really did not work. I mean, it also just, it was clearly trying really hard to be another Lord of the Rings trilogy. It did not need to be. But whatever rakes in the box office numbers. Be right back. No worries, Octavia. The questionable at best writing does not help. I agree. And yet when a show actually wants more season and isn't finished, like, yes, Clone Wars, Wander Over Yonder. Wait, BoJack Horseman's canceled? I thought it was still going on. Yeah, and I would agree. I would rather have 5 good shows than 20 shows. Like, and also, I think they just need to space things out a lot more. Like, I get with, when Disney Plus was put out there, they had shows pretty often. Here we go. This is a green screen. It might still work. They had shows on pretty often to kick things off, but they continued at the same pace at the release of the shows. So there's so much saturation in all of it. There's so much saturation. So in the end, all you've done is you've gotten your audience tired of all of this new stuff. Like, there's a word that I absolutely hate to use when describing a piece of media because in my mind it reduces it to just a marketing term, and that word is content. So whenever something feels soulless, that's what I would call content. It just feels like it's filling a gap. Like, you know how maybe some YouTube channels have to do a video every day and it's half-hearted, but they know that if they put it out, they'll get the views, they'll rake in the ad revenue, everything like that. That to me is content. At first, the MCU series, I'm not interested. At first, the MCU series were not content, but then as more and more of these shows were released, it started to become a little bit more apparent what was happening. They were just trying to keep people from canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions, and they realized, oh god, we gotta produce so much. We gotta quicken the production of other things. So that's what they've done. Man. No, Netflix killed it, and they had to end BoJack. Oh, they weren't done with it, but they had to make an ending. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, jeez. Hey, Octavia, what do you miss, Woo? We're just talking about things that ended too soon and things that need to end. Vortexio, by the way, welcome to the stream. The Clone Wars was really neat. I remember watching the shorter versions of the Clone Wars that they have on Cartoon Network, the first iterations of them. They were really, really well animated, and they got me really, even deeper into the Star Wars lore at the time. Yep, 2003. I will say I truly appreciated the attempt to explore Silmarillion. I will never get that word right, but they forced too much character. Should have let it be a world-driven story. Yeah, so world-driven story, I love it when stories just happen because of the things, I'm trying to think of a good example of what I love. So there's a play called Waiting for Godot. I actually saw it on stage recently. They had it at a theater here in New Jersey. That's the kind of story that I like. It's just people doing things, and what happens organically because it's not introduced by a writer, or it's not something that they wrote first and then made the characters after the fact for. No, the story is the characters. And that's what, to me, a really good show is. It's like when you're, in Pulp Fiction, the opening to Pulp Fiction. Yes, the characters have an objective. They have to do something, but it's the way that they do it that feels organic. With the way they speak to each other, we get to see into their world, their window, and we're not thinking about the quest. We're thinking about them, and I think that's what I love those stories. So, Here we go. Let's grab that source that we just did. Cool VFX can only get you so far. Yep, you need to have good writing to back it up. Episode 1, Episode 9, proof of that. Man, they didn't have a script ready when they started filming the third movie. Yeesh. I would define soulless as uninspired and formulaic. Yeah, same with me. I mean, like I said, the word content, just content implies something that is just there. It can or cannot have a soul, but even if it is soulless, it is still content. And that's why I hate using that word so much, even with things that I make, because I don't feel like what I'm doing is soulless. I feel like even if I were to, make these every week, my attitude wouldn't change. Now, of course, I'm saying that now. I have no idea what happens if, what happens if I'm suddenly, this is now something I'm going to be making every day instead. What happens then? Who knows? But either way, I would try to maintain that attitude as often as I can. And I think that a lot of studio writers, creators, everything, they try to maintain that too. But when you have a schedule that you need to meet for a major company or conglomerate, then it becomes really hard to maintain that same level of passion. I mean, look at The Simpsons. People talk about how it dropped off after 10 seasons or so. And, I can see where. I also think that what also caused the drop was a lot of the writers, moving on to different projects. Or maybe Matt just did not like working with The Simpsons as much as he used to. Who knows? But that's a show that definitely feels like it's entering the world of content rather than entertainment. There's a difference to me, and I try to keep that line. This is a green screen. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Look, his tunic isn't even coming back. So, unless... Let me see if that makes any difference here. No. What I could do... No, I need to find another one. Alright, let's keep the hunt. I call it filler, like when someone adds a lot of meaningless sentences to the 10-minute mark. Yeah, filler is another good word for it. Like, the MCU is a chronic bad writing problem, and honestly, that problem has plagued Disney extensively. See, the thing about Disney for me is that it isn't... Hang on one second. The thing about Disney for me is that I've never really looked at them as a studio that, except in some exceptions, like with Pixar, for example, as a studio that I could really take seriously because I know their shtick. They like making things or putting things out that are family friendly. And to them, a lot of the things that they put out aren't, it's more for marketing purposes or conglomerate purposes rather than artistic purposes. In the case of Pixar, a lot of what they do, you do have some stuff that, why did they make this? Like Cars 2 or something like that. But there's a difference between Cars 2 and Cars 1. Cars 2, it's obvious what the intention was, to sell cars, toys, toy lines, products, everything. Cars 1, even though it was intended to sell toys and products and merchandise, there is a heart behind it, one that I can easily get behind. And even if it doesn't accomplish it, I can respect it a lot. And that world of difference separates that kind of filler to kind of say what you said before. And She-Hulk was just a mistake. I haven't watched She-Hulk. Haven't watched She-Hulk at all. Andor was... Let's see. Hang on, I just thought of it. Andor was a tragedy because it easily the best Star Wars content created in the past 20 years, really. But it was buried amidst people being exhausted by bad shows. Watch it, you won't be disappointed. I have heard a lot of good things about Andor. I think I will give it a shot, definitely. Wish Spectacular Spider-Man came back. Hey, what's going on, Arlie? The Pollo Master, welcome! Whenever Disney has a great animated show, they just cancel it. Yes! What is it with them canceling shows left and right? Like Gravity Falls, I have no idea why they didn't continue Gravity Falls. New Jersey, do you live next to the Aqua Teen Hunger Force? I might as well. Actually, I thought Aqua Teen Hunger Force, wasn't that Boston? I forget. The Ghost and Molly McGee. Are those shows or series? Or movies, rather? I'm not sure. This is the first time I'm hearing something like that. Yeah. That also happened with Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yeah, so I did see Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I actually really liked that movie because it was remarkably different in the tone that I expected. Like, the way that it explored the characters was just... It's the kind of thing that I didn't expect to see from Disney. Maybe I would expect it to see from, a little bit more DC than anything else. Not because of its grimness, but because there was so much focus on a dark backstory, like a really dark backstory. And even the lighter moments were, shrouded with the subtext of just being used for cruel experiments. So I really like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, even though it is not as funny as the first and second. I feel like the humor was not the focus, and I'm fine with that. I only watched Spider-Verse 2. I have to watch those two Spider-Verse movies. I keep saying I'm going to do it. Yeesh. The writers for The Simpsons also forgot what they made the show funny. I think that there are some writers that are probably trying, but it's really hard to string jokes together in a way that's really consistent. Like the original 10 seasons of The Simpsons, like I'm still going through them. I'm still watching them because I didn't start watching The Simpsons until they entered Disney Plus's catalog. Jeez, I'm late to the game. But there's like so many jokes that they can cram in. Like one of my favorite episodes is the one where Homer goes to clown school, and the sequence where he's learning all the things from Krusty, and even some parts before and some parts after. There are so many great moments, like he stops a car in the middle of the highway, and one of those tractor trailers that carries vehicles is empty, stops behind him, and then all the cars. Moments like that, they're quick, they're snappy, and they're brilliant. And I feel like future Simpsons episodes maybe are trying to be a little bit more on the drama side as well. I don't always watch The Simpsons for drama. Sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not, but my opinion is all but entirely borrowed from Ent Lemon, since I was too young to care back when it happened. But yeah, Homer's Enemy. Oh man, I remember Homer's Enemy. That was such an interesting episode. Man. But yeah, Gailstrom, you would like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Do you watch Critical Drinker? If so, what do you think? So, I watched one Critical Drinker review. I don't remember what turned me off of it, but it just didn't click with me. There were just things that he was saying that I thought, well, I don't see eye to eye on this. And I usually, when I don't see eye to eye with certain content creators, like sometimes it's okay. With this though, it was an opinion that I just could not respect. And if he's going to think that way, I can't tell you what it was because it was a while back. It'd be hilarious if they link Spider-Verse to the MCU. They did link it because I do remember the very beginning of Spider-Verse, they spoke about scenes from the original Spider-Man trilogy, the Sam Raimi trilogy. So that means that if the Spider-Verse is linked to the Sam Raimi trilogy made a reappearance in the most recent Spider-Man movie. So by default, that's a link. Disney had made some stinker movies. No, they didn't make Pearl Harbor. I think that was New Line Cinema. That was a Michael Bay film that he wanted to try and milk the crowd that loved Titanic. I remember reading reviews about that movie. Like, I've never seen it, but the reviews I'm reading are, oh, this is all right. It's not bad. It's not good. But I guess it's okay. Wait, what do you mean there's 1 hour left? Like, it's a 3-hour movie. And apparently too much is dedicated to a boring love story. Just saying something. Yeah, Cars has lore. Yeah, Cars movies, as well as the others, were actually required by Disney when they bought Pixar. They were contractually obligated to do. Oh boy! So in other words, they had to make it because of Disney. Eesh. Eesh. Well, I can get behind. Like I said, I can get behind the first Cars movie because the scene where they're talking about the whatchamacallit. Like, to me, the subtext of that movie involves a lot of that small town attitude that gets lost when the just getting from A to B attitude is employed. And I kind of like that scene. It's got a James Taylor song, and it's not like the When Somebody Loved Me scene from Toy Story 2, but it's got that same kind of heart. Like, I really did like a lot of scenes from Cars. I didn't laugh at a lot of the jokes, but I didn't find them that annoying or grating. I thought that it was really good for what it was. I do think that it does get a lot of undeserved hate, and I think that's just because, you've got a huge catalog of great Pixar movies, and then Cars doesn't live up to it, but it is really good. It's well worth the respect of any viewer. She-Hulk would probably be an amazing source because nobody likes it. Man. Oh, Jerry Bruckheimer made Pearl Harbor. Noted. Okay. A-list actors and score. Jeez. Oh, wait, they canceled the new DuckTales? Jeez. They just don't know what they're... Well, I mean, the new DuckTales, I'll admit, I did not watch, but I loved that it had come back. I just hope that the old DuckTales doesn't get taken off of Disney+. Alright, so it's going to be really tricky to find Wand of Gamelon, a proper blue screen. So let me see if I can luck out with a red screen here. No, nothing. I'm looking forward to Henry Cavill's take on Warhammer. Yeah, so Henry Cavill, oh my god, he's just had the worst luck. Like, all of the projects that he's been part of, like, they just keep getting canceled for the worst reasons, and it's so sad. The guy deserves to have his passion respected. I'm curious about Warhammer, I really am. I'd love to see him in a Dungeons and Dragons take. Like, there was a Dungeons and Dragons movie, but I'd love to see Henry Cavill do something Dungeons and Dragons-esque. The difference between Nintendo and modern Disney is that Nintendo understands what family entertainment means, while modern Disney... No, I think that they both know what family entertainment means. I think that, though, they both have different definitions of it. Because when family entertainment is spoken about, often it's for classifying some kind of movie or genre, and then other times it's used for marketing. So in other words, like, we need to make a family entertainment movie because it will... make more money than a rated R movie, which is always the case. Rated R movies don't make that much money compared to PG and G, some PG-13s. Although, Avatar blows everything out of the water, the Avatar series. But I think that they do a really good job of at least knowing what the definition or understanding what it is. But Disney really tries to sometimes just so sometimes when I watch a lot of Disney shows, I think this is just not in tune with what kids like today, and then I'm really surprised to find that kids actually like it. So I mean, they know quite a bit more about what kids and families like than other companies, so I'll give them that, and I'm always proven wrong when I make assumptions about that kind of thing. To be fair, Captain, people remember the drama episodes of The Simpsons the most. I remember the funny... Like, I do remember drama episodes, but I remember the jokes, the individual jokes, or the series of jokes more often. Like, with Bart Gets an F, like, the drama there, I remember that. But with the... with the episode where Homer is the clown, like, stop it, he's already dead. I will always watch The Simpsons for humor than Well, except in some exception, with some exceptions, than for drama. All right, so Wand of Gamelon. I'm just not having any luck finding a blue screen for Wand of Gamelon. You'd think that there was, man, Jeff Lindblom, I really hope you come out with one soon. All right. I mean, he's made CDI. Oh, wait, no, this might just work. Hold the phone. I think we found our answer. Yes, yes, this will work. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank you, Jeff Lindblom. You have answered my prayers. It's weird. It didn't say it had blue screen on it until I looked closer. All right. Dungeons and Dragons movie was actually pretty good. So, no, the Dungeons and Dragons movies was not just pretty good. It was great. I am serious. You've got to see that movie. It is really fun. It's like I only started Dungeons and Dragons this year, but after watching the movie, it got me more and more interested. And it's interesting because more and more people are becoming interested in Dungeons and Dragons because, not just because of the movie, but because a lot of the, a lot of the aspects of the game are starting to appeal to a more wide crowd. From what I understand, did I save this to the right place? I think I did. From what I understand about the, very first iterations of Dungeons and Dragons, it was very, very closed off. So, the old stereotype about how nerds like certain things. Well, that was the case for Dungeons and Dragons because the creators intended for it. Like, the creator was extremely, extremely misogynist, did not want girls playing, and he hated, any kind of dungeon that was easy for level 20 players. Like, the things that you hear about him, the more you dig, are really terrible. And it's a really good thing that, Dungeons and Dragons today is so far off of his, very limited vision. Not that I believe in, stealing stuff from him, but, accessibility really is the best thing for Dungeons and Dragons. My chat is jumping. Yes, it is. All right. Only live-action Disney remake I can think of that was actually good was Jungle Book. So I did see Jungle Book in theaters. I did kind of like it, actually. I mean, I thought that also, on top of liking it, the effects were really good. Cinderella was okay. Beauty and the Beast was bleh. Mulan was terrible. Yeah, I guess the Jungle Book really is. I have The Lion King is literally just a copy and paste. Yeah, I think that the Jungle Book might just be the best. Actually, I'm going to throw in. Let me think. Wasn't there one more? Okay, there was a live-action Peter Pan that I have not seen. And then there was the live-action Lady and the Tramp, which I have not seen. So, let me separate the audio here. We can get rid of this now because this is terrible. This is better. That's why I love blue screens and green screens. What do you think about Zelda, Wand of Gamelon, and Link FOE are not popular in Japan despite being part... So I think the reason that they're just not popular in Japan is because the CDI wasn't popular in Japan. That's my only guess. Because the CDI, I think, was Philips, an American company. So not a lot of Japanese involvement except for maybe the inspiration for the games. Usually, with some exceptions, American franchises don't really take off in Japan. Crash Bandicoot being an exception. Japanese love Crash Bandicoot. Baldur's Gate 3 did a lot of people... Baldur's Gate 3 I've really got to play. I'm just so scared to start. I don't want to be sucked in and then I lose focus. I'm doing so good. Oh, man. Here we go. That looks good. The first time I played D&D, the party solution to every pub was to light it on fire. So, oh, man. My first D&D session was less combat focused. It was more like you're in a carnival and you have to recover something that you lost a long time ago, and it was like a funny storyline. I do a D&D session every other week, and it's a long continuous story. Unfortunately, it's got so many people that getting yourself involved into the campaign is a little trickier than it is for most, but it is absolute fun. It is an absolute blast. I helped kill a dragon. Right about here is good. So we need to link what happened. Dungeons and Dragons was for a long time sort of like the fantasy Warhammer 40k for me. Just very trite. This is very trite and played out setting. I thought a little bit of the same of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I thought, this seems like it's just, people going on a quest, killing dragons. I could do that in a video game until I actually tried it. I was curious. I owe the PAX East convention a lot of thanks for getting me into it, because that's where my curiosity got the better of me. I attended a session learning Dungeons and Dragons, if you've never done it before, something like that. And after that, I was thinking, I've got to find a local session. And my wife is now getting into it too. We actually spent on some really cool dice. Things I did not expect to do this time last year. All right, we need deform. Deform. Let's get this deform rolling. I don't think he didn't want girl players. I think it was the female nerds at the time was such a rarity that the type of women at the time being enjoyable to play with were out of possibility. Well, I hope that's the case. I hope it's that, rather, instead of, he just hated women. Because I heard that he just hated women. Now, of course, this is hearsay, so, what they say about a grain of salt. But, by golly, I really, really love what the game has become. For lack of a better word or term, female nerds are, I don't know what they were like back then. I don't know what I don't know what a lot of people were like back then who were nerds. I only ever see them portrayed in media. But for the most part, female nerds just seemed like regular other nerds. And, yeah. But, of course, you still have a lot of demonization of women today who love video games, and it's really sad. So, for the most part, if, regardless of whether he was just a misogynist or he was scared of, like you say, Galestrom, he was scared of the way that certain nerds were portrayed, I'll take this iteration of Dungeons and Dragons, like the 5th edition, where almost everyone is included. Yeah. And I hate to say, but female players have been the worst players in D&D and Pathfinder games I've played, and I really wish that wasn't the case. Man, I really wish you could join my campaign, because it's like split 50-50 men and women, and the women are hilariously funny. They're amazing. Like, when we were fighting the dragon and trying to kill it, there's this one crazy person who, because the dragon had been knocked out from a sleeping spell of some sort and was on the ground, but, it's one of those things where once it hits the ground, it wakes up immediately. So she took this as her chance and attempted to get on the dragon's head and use powerful boots to stomp on the nose, and she rolled. It was a 1, and this was the type. I think it was the type of move where the dragon could retaliate. So the dragon, of course, being the DM, she rolled. It was a 20, and all of us had images. We could not stop laughing. It was perfect. We had all of these images of her being flown away with a goofy laugh. Easily one of my favorite moments ever in Dungeons and Dragons. Absolutely brilliant. But I mean, I've not had much experience with players in general with Dungeons and Dragons. Like, that session that I do really has been the only consistent session that I've been a part of. So that is a that is a single man's perspective here. I have no idea what the usual crowd is like, but I mean, everyone's fun to play with there. I'm going to be grateful for that. All right, I need to shift this a little bit. Oh, whoops. Did I do things a little too soon? Nope, it's okay. Okay. Track motion's fine now. Okay, that's what I want. I just need to move the arm because the arm was sticking out the blackboard there. Yeah, it was epitome of everything wrong with Disney live-action remake. The Little Mermaid one was the worst kind of retread, but some terrible ideas thrown into it. So I've never seen the Little Mermaid one. I know that it gets a lot of hate because it's another Disney remake, but a lot of times I have a hard time just, entrenching myself into the camp, because often it leads me to aligning myself with some people who hate it for, let's just say, less good reasons. I'll leave it at that. So, I haven't seen The Little Mermaid. I mean, I can see it whenever I want to, but I'd much rather not. It just doesn't... Like, even if I'm not really interested in the live-action remakes. Never really have been, except for some exceptions, like maybe when they just started. But, I mean, The Jungle Book was the only one that I really, really liked, and I thought that was pretty good. Just pretty good. Everything else, man, I could have done without. Especially Mulan. Oh my god, especially Mulan. Alright, yeah, you definitely need to watch the new D&D film, Sagittarius A. Oh, man. My RPG of choice is Delta Green, and Conspiracy Horror selects for generally pretty hardcore crowds. So I'm still kind of getting used to the world of RPGs, like tabletop RPG games like Dungeons and Dragons and all that. So, that's interesting. I'll fix that. But first I need to move this a little bit more to the left. Hand's still sticking out of the board. Okay. Now. Oh, I know what's going on. I forgot to create a timeline for the deformity. So, let's start from scratch. No worries. All good. That's better. That's better. We live in this society. I'm very sad that women are still ostracized for just gaming. I think they should have a chance to be mediocre and toxic human beings, just like other players on my teams. I mean, we're starting to become more inclusive as a society. Like, a lot of the stereotypes belonging to women in general are they're getting lifted, but it's still going to take some time, and every ounce of progress that we can make is great. I would love to have... Whoops. Did I do it too thin? Yeah, I did it too thin. There we go. Every ounce of progress that we can make on that front, the better. Because by golly, does it really, really make a difference when everyone's included. I've always interpreted D&D in games like it is the modern version of village elders sitting around and telling tales to the villagers. It has that majesty to it, and it involves the listeners now. I kind of like that. That's a great little take right there. See, the thing about D&D for me is that what excites me is the opportunity to join this fantasy world in a way that's somewhat similar to video games. Hand sticks out, it's okay. But not quite at the same time. So, in that respect, it's kind of like the precursor to a lot of RPG games. Like, it's very apparent that a lot of like, now that I can familiarize myself with a lot of the ways that D&D works, I can see where modern video games kind of draw a lot of that inspiration from. So, given that it is, yeah, it's I kind of like that interpretation though. It's kind of like you're playing like a video game of that story. Let's see. Just gonna make one more deform amount edit. Problem with the Little Mermaid one is that there was a lot of people who were criticizing the fact that they made the mermaid black. Yeah, or that's the kind of criticism that I have heard a ton of, unfortunately, on the internet. Like, you have all of these people who feel like they have had their character in their minds ruined, and it's really pathetic because it's an interpretation. It always was. The original Little Mermaid is so different from the Disney iteration. Who cares whether or not, like, it's the exact same type of person? Like, it doesn't matter if they're Danish or not, because it's a Hans Christian Andersen story. So I think that it's, Danish characters. Man. That noise made it pretty hard to separate good criticism. Yeah, I mean, even then, like, there is good criticism. Like, I know that Rotten Tomatoes gets a lot of flack, but when you separate top critics from everyone, because top critics are really the ones that you want to follow, not just the everyone's, although you'll find some good critics in there. You'll find some really good writers who have some very important things to say. Like, one of my favorite critics is James Berardinelli, who is a top critic for Rotten Tomatoes, writes for a site called Real Views, which is his baby. He is engineer by day, movie critic by night, I guess. And he's been doing it for years, like well over 20 years now. So what he says about a movie, I pay a lot of attention to because it clicks with me. And I found him through Rotten Tomatoes, through reading the top critics. I just don't get that same kind of great perspective from other critics, except top critics. Like, people you really, like, on the old Rotten Tomatoes, like, you used to be able to leave comments on a review. Now that you can't, sometimes it's really hard to tell what is a bot-generated review and what isn't. And that is something that actually exists. There are bots posing as critics, as was recently discovered, that affect a movie's tomato score or tomato meter. It can bump a bad movie into good or a good into a certified fresh, which has a lot of effect on marketing and box office. I gotta go hydrate myself until I shout, "Hello, Tyrannosaurus Island," and have some breakfast. Actually, thanks for reminding me. I've gotta hydrate myself too. Oh, man. But yes, go hydrate yourself. Yeah. One thing that blew my mind, but also makes perfect sense when thinking about it, is the record of Lotus War essentially having been created because of a D&D game. Oh, man. I feel like D&D's really inspired a lot. Like, I'm kind of still surprised by how many games have just had this D&D-centric style. And all this time I thought it was only one type of game. No, it's not. It's a lot of games. Or it's a lot of different types of RPGs, more specifically. Okay. See how it looks. It's getting a little cut off here, but excuse me. So it's getting a little cut off here. That's all right. That's adjustable. Great. Now let's see. In fact, when this board finishes swiveling, it kind of kicks back. So it's a great way to pivot that part back into reversal. Yeah, I like this. I love how they waited for the original Ursula and Crab voice actors to die before they did the live-action remake. Well, I don't. I think that was a little bit more coincidence. It sounds malicious, but I think that a lot of actors at the time, like Beauty and the Beast, because keep in mind this was a movie like that was part of the Renaissance, and the Renaissance was late '80s, early '90s. Not a lot of performers in that era are still alive. Like, they didn't exactly hire everyone who was an A-list actor. They hired real professional character actors, performers on Broadway and stage. A far cry from what the remakes do. Well, except in, with The Lion King, you had Matthew Broderick and Mr. Bean, of course, and James Earl Jones. But very often, in the case of Beauty and the Beast, there were performers, like Broadway performers.
What happened?
And you just don't see that as often anymore. Like, even with my favorite animated musical, The Prince of Egypt, everybody there was an A-lister. Like, it was... yeah, it was just a complete ensemble cast. Doom and the Elder Scrolls were also inspired by D&D sessions. Interesting. I figured Elder Scrolls. I didn't know Doom. I thought Doom was kind of like a... it started as like a little tech project stuff. The Mermaid remake is back as it changes the story and adds an annoying song. There's plenty of criticism of that movie beyond. Yeah, I figured that because a lot of the movies that I was seeing from the, critics who were not the, idiots complaining about race and all that, they had legitimate criticisms about the movie. So, yeah, it definitely failed for reasons that had more to do with story, character, plotting issues, all that stuff. It had so many problems with Ariel being black. Honestly, is not one of... yeah, I mean, whether she's black, whether she's white, whether she's albino, I mean, it isn't going to change the plot of the movie. That's the thing. Doom and the Elders, yeah. I've been enjoying EFAP because they're also hilarious, but can objectively recognize bad writing while also acknowledging that you can subjectively enjoy. For example, Endgame being flawed but awesome. Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that front. Like with Endgame especially. All right, I'm just gonna get rid of the audio here because his speaking is not what I want. I want Link.
What happened?
Maybe I can. Let's see. Yeah, I can probably do some kind of layer or cut and mask it over, slowing it down so that he's less apparent on the speaking section here. I really hate this corporate trend toward removing feedback criticism from common people. Like on YouTube, you can't see dislikes, and how many big news videos won't even allow comments. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I think that even before dislikes were removed, like even then, channels did have the ability to dictate whether or not they wanted the ability to like or dislike their videos or even have a comment section. So, I mean, even then though, the forcibly taking it away really did not sit well with me, because one thing that a lot of people have mentioned is that because all of the dislikes have been taken away, people can't really tell, like visibly I should say, people now can't tell whether something that they're searching for that's instructional is legitimate or not. So if someone's saying, hey, you should do this to fix your sink, and it's not safe and it has a lot of views, then I think YouTube is going to prefer that. Unless I'm wrong about that, because I do think that, likes are going to be part of the algorithm, as are dislikes. But a lot of times it can lead to errors, and I can see that point. Man. It's like big corporations want... oh, God. Oh, I didn't know that they only died like 3 months before. Was it 3 months before the movie came out, or 3 months before they started the project? Either way, that's like big corporations want echo chamber in the TV days. Okay, let's see how this looks.
What happened? What happened?
It's a little clunky. Let's speed it up a little bit.
What happened?
That's how we get Gaston as the perfect level of absurdity. Yep. Like, Gaston is a good way of describe, like, Gaston level absurdity. Like, I love when, you know, in the Beauty and the Beast live action remake, the Gaston that they had just was not on the same level as the animated Gaston. Like, it just felt so casual, his insidiousness. But in the animated movie, it's much more maniacal. With Doom, the idea to have demons was a D&D session that ended with a portal to... Oh, gotcha. Huh. Interesting. The more you know. Thank you, Dinwar. Yeah, D&D, it really is a nice breeding ground for a lot of imagination.
What happened?
You know, one thing I really like is that D&D really kind of set the tone for, like, I know that it's been talked about, like, how many modern games still kind of use the D&D, I guess for lack of a better word, skill tree system, because in creating your character in D&D, you do have to properly align which skills are going to be your more advantageous ones. And it's kind of like that in a lot of video games too. I'm just going to quickly render this so that I can work with it on a reversal effect. So, finished, yeah. I'll just do Squatchboard. And yeah, that'll also give me time to kind of poke more into this. There we go. Main issue with race swapping is stopping it from being the goal. For example, with the recent Cleopatra, yeah, being called a documentary but making her black when she's proven to be Macedonian Greek. That does irk me, yes, because if Cleopatra was Macedonian Greek, I don't know where the skin palette makes any sense. And also, I've heard that the show, like the documentary in general, is pretty bad as well. That's at least what I'm reading. So long as the best person for the role and the appropriate role is focused on, that's all we care about. Yep. Now, I think that there is, unfortunately, you know, there was an intention, I think, with that Cleopatra show that I don't think was properly seen through. Like, with, for example, like, I feel like, was it Will Smith's wife who was Cleopatra? I think it was. I feel like she may be really fascinated with Cleopatra, but that fascination did not translate to her doing her homework right. There was a movie that Madonna directed about the wife of King Edward. Let's see, I'm trying to think what it was. But the thing about that movie is that Edward and his wife were Nazi sympathizers. And the way that Madonna made them appear was completely different from what actually happened on that topic. So I made them look like they were not sympathizing with the Nazis, when in actuality that is what happened. In fact, Hitler actually preferred Edward on the throne because he was softer on the Germans. But Madonna completely botched it. That's what I think about when I think about that Cleopatra documentary. So, that Cleopatra was a real person, but people lose their, yeah. people will lose a lot of shit over fictional characters getting reinterpreted. Like, Ariel, obviously, like, she's a palette. It's a palette you can do whatever you like with. I'm sure that the story of The Little Mermaid has been translated. You know, Santa Claus, for example. Santa Claus is different ethnicities in different countries. There's no one Santa Claus. It's whatever works in the context of where you are. Like, if you go to Japan, then not only Santa Claus, like, is Santa Claus going to be maybe Japanese, but also the Colonel for KFC, as I understand. So, again, it's a palette. As long as you are doing it right. Like, in the case of Cleopatra, it just felt like it was not done right. Recently in Magic the Gathering, they made Aragorn black for their tie-over with Lord of the Rings in the Salt. Interesting. I don't play Magic the Gathering. I wonder why Aragorn was... Interesting. So this is in dire need of some fixing here. Dire need of some fixing. Okay, let's get this fixed. And I know what has gone wrong here. I had forgotten to put this on best in full, because then it shows me what the actual frame is. So let's go to deform animations here. Nice thing about Warhammer is that's so goddamn grimdark that it lets you release all the darker parts of one in imagination, let them run wild with that setting. I'm really curious. Like, the only thing I know about Warhammer is that it's an expensive hobby. That's pretty much the only thing I actually know about it, because that's what everyone says. It's an expensive hobby. So I'm really curious what Warhammer is all about. So, and I really want to see what the Henry Cavill production will do for that. There's some TTRPG enthusiasts that say video game RPGs aren't true RPGs since the roleplay aspects are more limited. I can kind of see where they're coming from, because they're very linear. Like, you have to choose this path versus, you know, doing something more wide open. Like, even in the case of Grand Theft Auto, like, you can steal the car, you can shoot the driver, but, you know, everything there is a control that you have to operate. Like, it's pre-programmed, and you're only choosing from a select menu. It's not something where you have total free will. Like with the session that I was talking about earlier, where she wanted to get on the dragon and stomp on it with these boots. They wouldn't program that into a video game where you fight dragons. It was what she wanted to do. So I see completely where you're coming from on that, Dinner Warrior. I think that's also why I'm really, really into Dungeons & Dragons, because in all the games that I've played, like even with Skyrim and Grand Theft Auto, the options that I have to interact with the world are predetermined interactions. And that can't be the case. Like, if there's a major character that I want to assassinate just because, I don't know, I love chaos and I just don't give a damn, or at least my character doesn't give a damn, then I can kill them. In some games, they won't let you kill the good NPCs, or the NPCs that are important to the story. Man, I understand their logic, but it is medieval, and for a random guy, yes, but he was a Dundine, so shoehorning in a race swap is bad writing, no question, needs an explanation. I'm going to have to defer to all the, like, I am not going to be as well-versed on The Lord of the Rings as a whole bunch of other people are, especially those who are a little closer to Tolkien's writing. That's weird. When I go over this, it shows everything just fine. You know what? I'll just use a simple... Yeah, that's fine. I'll just cut off the link here. So here's what I'll do. I'll grab this, put it here. Good. And I think this lines up one over the other just right. No, it doesn't. I'll need to expand this a little bit more to get the right match. Man. Warhammer is grimdark, and that's a big part of the charm. What does grimdark mean? I keep seeing that everywhere when it comes, and I'm not sure what it's meant to imply. Is it something to do with space? Is it something to do with, you know, cyberpunk? What does it infer? Oh, wow, that's way off. Have you ever thought about making a YouTube poop about a Mortal Kombat movie? I haven't seen the new one. I heard that it was pretty faithful, but Mortal Kombat's just not a franchise that entices me. Like, I've played Armageddon. That's the only Mortal Kombat game I played, and you know, funny enough, it was on the Wii at the time. But I mean, it was still a Mortal Kombat game, right? And I mean, I thought it was good, but the thing about fighting games is that I feel like after I played Super Smash Brothers, which kind of blew the type of blew fighting games out of the water with what you could do. Regular fighting games that have the kind of boxed-in restriction, you know, like you can't jump on platforms or anything like that, it just doesn't feel the same to me. I do like the character designs and everything, and I think that, you know, at least the 1994 movie was pretty interesting and good, but I'm not really into the games. I'm sure if I pick them up and try them, I'll understand what their appeal is, but for the most part, it's just not for me. Grimdark is a setting where there's implied doom and gloom. So Warhammer has that, if I understand that. Okay. So in other words, it sounds like Warhammer is like post-apocalyptic in that sense. Would I be right on that? Grimdark is like it's very gritty and dark in the tone and subject matter. Okay. It sounds a lot like something that's hard-boiled. Like hard-boiled, like, you know, hard-boiled pulp novel with the, you know, detective fictions from way back when. All right, let's use a cookie cutter effect here. Or actually, no, not a cookie cutter effect. We'll just use a simple mask. Because we also need to get this hand out of the frame. So let's apply liberally. Here we go. Now our first mask, I'm just going to make this square right here. You know, it's funny, the definition of grimdark now seems so obvious, but oh well. A good way to interpret grimdark is that there's no overt good guys or bad guys, so to speak, no overt heroes, or this is unequivocally good and evil is my interpretation. Okay. So it's just, it's not like a quest or a video game where you yourself, you know you're the good guy or you know you're the bad guy. There are no roles like that. Okay. That sounds interesting. So what I'm really curious to know is how does the Warhammer setting tie into that? It sounds very, very space cyberpunk, space medieval, everything. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Okay, got it. Thank you for helping me with that definition. Warhammer humans sacrifice 1,000 people a day to the corpse of the Emperor to keep the portals to chaos open to travel the universe. Oh my god. Wow. Okay, yeah, that is very grimdark. I see where that comes from. Actually, it's interesting. I didn't know that Warhammer was that fantastical. I thought it was mostly all, engineering and spaceships like Star Wars and Star Trek. This sounds like something I've never even thought there could be a franchise of. Scale really destroys some of the grimdark things in Warhammer, but that is rarely explored by most people. Yeah, when I found this post online where it showed what the actual scale of ships in fantasy, like space fantasy, would be like compared to each other, and the strong majority of ships on that, because there were a ton of ships, like hundreds, the strong majority of them were Warhammer. And I was thinking, my God, how big is this franchise? Or Warhammer 4K has hive mind aliens that make the Zerg from StarCraft look like puppies in comparison. Oh my God. Like, I am just amazed just how much I have been in the dark on this franchise, and I'm only now getting a good idea of what it's all about. 1,000 people a day is nothing in the scale of Warhammer. Like, probably 1,000 people get born every hour. Jeez. My gosh. This feels like something that absolutely deserves to have some kind of show behind it. Now I'm even more excited to see what Henry Cavill does with it, because one thing I really got to know about Henry Cavill and all his time in The Witcher is that he takes the source material seriously. Like, when he is playing, like when he's in that show, like, I can't imagine anybody else being who he is, and that he isn't, oh my God, that he isn't in that show anymore is just baffling to me. Like, so many stupid decisions by Netflix, by DC ousting him as Superman. Like, what in the world? It's 80s levels absurd with 80s levels dark, for the orcs paint their vehicles red to make them faster, and also because it unequivocally believe it does so, it actually does go fast. God. My gosh. It sounds like the kind of thing where, like I was talking about, you stomp on the dragon with your boot. This sounds like the kind of thing where that kind of action would really be frowned upon. It sounds like there's almost no room for that kind of levity. By design, of course, and I get that, but that's really interesting. I think they wanted to make a Warhammer 40k game, but they didn't get the license. Those are from StarCraft, or based on the Tyranids, but interpreted by Blizzard. I know that there was a Warhammer game. I don't know what type of game it is. I just remember Classic Game Room talking about it and going into, the goods and the stuff, goods and the bads. The guy who designed StarCraft races essentially took from Warhammer without question. Ooh. Alright, let's see how this looks. Yeah, that's much better. That is much better. It's in line with the board. Perfect. Re-render. I'll just call this number 2. There we go. But they made something cool and different anyway. Have you ever read Dune by Frank Herbert? I haven't read Dune. I've seen part 1, and I'm really curious to see how the rest of the films go. The thing that kind of intimidates me about Dune is that it is a huge series with so much to add to it. Like, when I saw Dune the film, I felt the density of the worlds. Like, I didn't even have to, I didn't even have to really learn that there is a huge political ecosystem in it. I saw it for myself. I figured it for myself. in the books, from what I understand, it's really, really densely gone over. Here we go, Squatchboard 2. But, I mean, I'm curious about the franchise. I do want to see the movies first before I read the book, though. I don't know, I've just been really anxious to see part 2. The fun part of Warhammer is just how messed up it gets. Ooh. Messed up as in, like, oh my god, I can't believe we did this. Or messed up as in bloody, what in the world? Again? It still didn't? Huh. Why is this not staying where it is? Oh, wait. Did I forget to turn the mask on? No, it's on. So, Alright, well, if it's going to be that way, what happens if I just do this? It's such a weird thing to have happen like that. Alright, I'll worry about that later. Government clamping down on protests. That's when most of the lore was cooked up. I kind of figured because, like, when I heard the name of the planet Arrakis, the first thing that came to mind was Iraq, because it sounds like Iraq. And I know that the Iranian Revolution and the like happened in the 70s, not when Dune was written, but considering it's a sandy place, maybe Frank Herbert thought sand, Iraq, Iraqis, something like that. Arrakis, more like. Oh my god. The most famous orc in Warhammer, named after Margaret Thatcher Gosnell. Oh my god. She is still getting it left and right, even when she's dead. Alright, I'll figure this out on a different time. Well, in the meantime, one thing I will do is, because we want that shower scene to appear, one thing I did do is I integrated, let's see, oh no, not that part. I tried to integrate the SpongeBob shower scene. I think we'll try that here in this section. Dune way back when it gave me such a lifelong awakening about perspective that a man could spin the ground, and it's culturally interpreted as a honorable greeting for sacrificing your body's water. Yes. It's a scene that I remember in the movies and really enjoying, especially Javier Bardem as the like in that role. Like Javier Bardem just kills in every role he's in. Where did I put that scene? Ah, here it is. The Behold. I wonder if I can make that happen on the board. Probably. So let's get this. I wonder who that was. He's just now known as the SpongeBob shower guy. Some truly fascinating fiction can come out of people using questionable decisions from the powers that be as inspiration. You know, I do know that a lot of excuse me. You know, a lot of fiction has been based on some real life happenings, and a lot of times it's when, you know, a lot of times the author is not willing to admit it, but it's obvious. Okay, here we go. Let's decrease the size right there, and we'll probably feather it. I've returned. Welcome back, HS Gomikubi. Have you ever thought about integrating Ricardo Milos into your YouTube hoops? Who is Ricardo Milos? Oh, hang on. I closed out the chat doc. There we go. Ricardo Milos. I'll have to look him up. Ricardo Milos. Never seen this before. That might not be, yeah. I've never seen this meme. It sounds, what the heck? He looks like a guy that would appear in a WWF scene. Alright, so we got that. Oh shoot, we only have 20 minutes left in the stream. You know, it's weird. I was so scared that this stream was going to have another power cut, and because we have a superstorm, well, not a superstorm, but a storm coming our way that originated down south. And I got alerts from my internet provider, hey, there's a chance that the power may go out, be ready, and all that. So I was thinking, really? Not again. And I'm glad it did not happen on this stream. Funny stripper man. Okay. Nope, this is not a meme. I'm sorry, HS. This is not a meme I'm very familiar with. Alright, so let's see what we can do here on the final steps. So, final steps of this stream. Let's get a jump on the hat trick, so to say, the Kung Lao hat. Hey, Capt. Still want to try using Billy Mays with a real-life skunk. Oh, man. I think I wrote that down. Didn't I write that down somewhere? I'll write that down again. What's wrong? Nothing wrong with doing it twice. But, yeah, I wrote it in... Didn't I write it in a separate box? Mays. Real live skunk. Yeah, I know in a prior stream I spoke about using Billy Mays in ad-based YouTube poops, so. Alright, so what we need here, if we need this to work, we need a Kung Lao hat that's going to be perfectly level with the, oh, hang on. There we go. Needs to be perfectly level with the ground. That's why I save, because you never know when something's going to conk out at you like that. Now, a lot of these that I'm seeing on Google, they are... Oh, here we go. Like a lot of these I'm seeing on Google are tilted, but they're still good. There's really a bad moment for a hi Billy Mays here to interrupt whatever else. Yeah, I think Billy Mays is a fixture in YouTube poop. He really is. Just a great source. Overall, he's done a ton of commercials, so if one commercial you can't think of anything for, there's another one. You can use him a ton of different ways. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Now, as far as where to use him in this YouTube poop, this works. Here we go. As far as where to use him in this YouTube poop, it's really going to come down to whether I want to add more people or more sources, so to say, to this. I kind of want to keep this as a Dr. Squatch based YouTube poop mostly. I don't really want to get off track too much like I do in some of my other stream of consciousness works. Oh, whoops, wrong one. There we go. Squatch. You probably don't need to do the hat. You could probably use a masked still of the plate he throws and say, will help with the he throws, I'd say, will help with the persistence of continuity. No, maybe. Let me see. A masked still of the plate. So in other words, he throws the plate and it bisects somebody in the same way that the hat does. I think it could work either way. Especially since, if I were to put the hat in, I'm guessing not a lot of people would immediately recognize it as the Kung Lao hat. Rip Vince Offer's sales career. Well, he's trying to make a comeback, Mr. Offer is, but he's having a little bit of a hard time. I don't think he's been on TV again, but he is trying to advertise. He's trying to sell like he used to. All right. Yeah, why not? All right, so what we need to do then is we need to get this, a clean version of that. So let's see, we got the fingers that are a little bit in the way, but that might not be a problem because we can still use oval dimensions. So first, let me go through each frame that he's holding that. I want the least blurry frame possible. This is too flat. Okay, so where it was just then is perfect. Right there. Video effects. Let's get the plate. Perfect. And we're gonna, because his fingers stop us from using the actual dimensions of the plate, but we can just skirt this by using a good lookalike. So let me just make sure that this is as good as it can get here. Got that. Ooh. Don't want that anchor there. I want this to be here. There we go. Turn the mask on. Add a feather maybe. Feather in just a slight bit. There you go. So it's not perfect, but it will work. Like this can fly. It's very clearly aerodynamic. You can fly left to right. And it'll work just like that. Yeah, this is for Dr. Squatch. Yep. The spam ads on Facebook, they're still advertising. Yep. No aluminum, dang. Maybe I need to consider this product. Well, first off, President of Pluto, welcome to the stream. Sorry you had to join in the final 10 minutes or so. But someone mentioned earlier that, deodorant isn't going to have aluminum nowadays. Maybe it's like paint without lead. It's expected. So I think you're fine on that front. So the question is, what does this bisect? I mean, I want to keep this relatively undisturbing. So when I think about bisections, I mean, you could think of, beheading scenes. You could think of that scene in Ghost Ship. You could think of let's see. You could think of maybe a Mortal Kombat brutality. But there's oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna do the ping around the world. I finished using it the first month. The soap is excellent. Yeah, so it's funny. Funny, Gilstrom. I actually went to a store in a shopping mall near me, and they actually sold Dr. Squatch soap. So I figured, and I'll just get a bar. I got 2 bars. One of the blue sea one, and then the one that was like the barrel bourbon. And they're pretty nice. I'll give them that. They're pretty nice. They like, I don't know, $8 a bar. So I didn't blow the wad, so to say, on soap, but it's a good start. If it's worth it, then I guess I'll subscribe to. But that would be really, really weird for me to have a YouTube poop source that I ended up buying that was based off some kind of infomercial. Although it's not unheard of, a lot of people did buy Hulk Hogan's Ultimate Grill. That was a very popular source. All right, so here's what I am going to do. I'm going to grab Actually, no, I don't need to use another. Oh, wait, actually. Yeah, why not? Let's grab the Mulan video, because the Mulan YouTube poop has that ping sound effect that I think just completes the joke. I remember a Scooby-Doo scene where Velma says his head is gone, so maybe it bisects a Scooby-Doo monster. I think that was like the headless, like they go into that mansion and there's this headless thing, and then at the very end the guy takes a fall, his head pops out, which by the way, laziest Scooby-Doo monster. Just a headless guy who was really just keeping his head tucked inside his shirt. Alright, let's see. Drake to things. I think, yeah, this is it. Yeah, before I was going to call it Mulan Starts an OnlyFans, I was going to call it like Moulin Rouge, which I'm glad I didn't. Mulan Starts an OnlyFans, infinitesimally better title. Alright, but I only need that specific scene. So, let's see if I can get it on this one grab. No, it's earlier. Earlier than that. Here we go. Yeah, this was 2010. I can't believe it was 3 years ago. Where did the time go? My gosh. Alright. Let's pull it into the timeline. I said let's pull it into the timeline. Come on. You can do it. Not you, Michael Rosen. You're fine. I just need the Mulan video. There we go. You know. Yeah, this was back before I learned that you could do disable resample. So a lot of this is very blurry, as you can see, but no more. Okay. Oops. Right about here. I remember watching a couple of Mulan YouTubes after that. Like, I think that, like, Shang's incredibly sexy army or something like that. And then there was just Mulan, like a cow. Yeah, the title is one of my favorite things about that YouTube poop. I love coming up with insane titles like that. I never like to keep it like a 1 or 2 word title. Sometimes I will, but very often I will go out and do like... Very often I'll go and do those, you know, jokes within a joke, like the title is a joke in and of itself. Yep, the emphasis on it to fund a better live action remake. Time is a way of slipping through your pingus. Damn right. Alright, so let's position our marker right here. And then what I need to do, because it's very faint, the arrow that is shot, it'll be right here. Let's get a snapshot of the Earth. There we go. And you got that ping sound effect right there. 5 minutes. Think we can get this done in 5 minutes? All right. Now, where did I... There it is. So we'll stick this right on. And what we need to do, well, we need to do a couple things. So first, we need to shrink it. And maybe a deform effect wouldn't hurt, although it's 6 to 1 half dozen the other here because it's going to be so small. Shrink it right about there. So flying saucer from Plan 9 from outer space. I like the porno skit names. Good. There's this old Super 1 from Salt and Ham Super Show. This is pretty much the best material ever. Yeah. I remember that. I remember that guy. Salt and Ham Super Show. Alright, then what we need to do is, let's see, better get this right. Perfect. So what I need to do is get this little ring positioned as close to the center as possible. And let's see if it rotates the way I want it to rotate now. No, it doesn't. Might have done that incorrectly. That's all right. Let's try here. What happens here? There we go. So maybe a little further south. And what does it look? All right. A little further north. Want that circle to be just right. Oh, what's this? Did it just... Okay, that's pretty close. Maybe just a slight bit more. Slight bit. I remember I started laughing a split second before the laser blew him up. Yeah, my mind sensed the upcoming joke and immediately was dead. Yeah, that is one of my favorite jokes from that poop too, and I want to make it like a running thing too. Like there are so many opportunities that there could be in the future. Like, is that the support beam to the house? Like one of those kinds of running jokes where you never know when it's going to pop up again. I haven't made a good support beam joke in a long time, now that I think about it. Alright, let's see how it looks. Oh, it's right. It needs to be on preview auto. Then it'll come into play. It still takes a while to buffer, but it goes from there to 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 there. Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly what we want. And then it will come flying in and bisect him, but it won't be a bloody bisection. I don't want to do something like that. They'll probably just knock the head clean off. No blood, and make a fart sound. Vortexio, well, sorry to see you go. Well, I'm sorry to see everyone go. It is 4:59, so I gotta get this stream wrapped up. So, we'll save it right here. Whew. We got a good crop of jokes. I'm gonna work on these jokes over the weekend to get them righted. Man, I'm so glad that you guys were able to stop and join. Man, you guys had a lot of good stuff here today, and I'm really excited. Like, I keep saying that I'm really excited, but in reality, I am really excited. There's no other way to say it. And, yeah, we didn't have power knocked out by a storm. That's a plus. That's great. Instead of beheading something that just could just bisect a wood beam, and you could do a support. Ooh, maybe. Well, I like it when there's a wood beam to like some kind of structure or house. So maybe there's a chance. I'll find something. I'll find something. If it's not going to be in this poop, if I don't feel it's going to work in this poop, I'll find another way in another one. So actually, I think I just thought of one. So guys, thank you so much for joining the stream today. It has been an absolute blast. So the plan is for the next stream to be this coming Saturday. That's, of course, the 30th. Same time from 2 Eastern to 5 Eastern. And we're going to continue to work on this unless, I somehow decide I'm going to finish it. But I'd rather have you guys work with me on stream and leave some of these jokes to the stream, and then other jokes that I do or other projects off to the side. But either way, Galstrom, Vortexio, Onarius, HS, President of Pluto, Hercules, everybody who I didn't mention because I didn't scroll up further enough. Thank you so much for being a part of my weekend, and I'll see you in the coming weekend.